Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video, I'd like to look at how the US E-minis unfolded yesterday, which was Thursday, May the 1st. Looking at the standard MTPredictor trade setups, we're looking at the MTP RT add-ons for NinjaTrader 7 here. We had a DP sell here, but it was against a blue STF. TS3 sell setup here against a blue STF. And the only setup on the YM, this is a 3-minute YM I'm looking at here, was right at the end of the day. However, for you, those of you who have been following our webinars or our videos for a while will know that we like to move our customers up to use the higher time frame charts for the large degree trend. And I just want to show you how we do this on these particular charts. So for this, we look to a higher time frame chart. We normally look for 3 to 5 time frames higher. So for the 3-minute chart, we move out to the 15-minute. Now here, I'll put our DP levels on from prior swings. So here there was a prior swing here. So the right mouse click, place the decision point on, and you can see we actually went beyond that. So this would be no longer relevant. When this happens, we go back to prior swings. There was a swing pivot here. This would have then done a small decision point level there. The next swing pivot was here, and that would have given us our major level up there. So as you can see, this was the major, or this was the high off before all these declines unfolded. So I'll just take that one off as that's irrelevant. So I want to show you what difference this would actually make, and I'll take that other smaller one off as well. Yesterday opened here. This is where the vertical line is to show the open of yesterday, and you can see what happened in that the market opened and basically went right up into this 15-minute resistance area before then starting to decline down. Now the great thing about these decision point levels is they are leading indicators. In other words, they are on the chart in advance before the market gets there. So yesterday, before the market even opened, you'd have had this level on your charts. So let's see what this would have meant when you come down to the 3-minute chart. Well, straight away you can see that this DP sell setup here was actually at our 15-minute resistance. So for you MTPredictor users who are very aggressive, you could have decided to take this DP sell setup, and as you can see, it went down into the opposing DP target there for a lovely 5.2R profit. Can you see that? 5.2R. In other words, using our correct position sizing, in this case risking a 2% initial risk on a 20,000 sampled account, would have made a profit of approximately 5R, or 5 times the initial risk. But I think this would have been quite an aggressive trade. So this would have been only for you more experienced MTPredictor users. The trade that I like better was actually this TS3 sell here that unfolded at about 11:45, and I'll show you why. This is the YM. Now what we tend to tell people is that we tend to say that the YM tends to follow the ES. In other words, we tend to call the ES the boss because it's the indices of the larger basket of stocks, S&P 500 as opposed to Dow 30. So I want to have a look and see what the pattern on the ES was at this particular time as well. Remember, this TS3 sell was about 11:45 New York time. So let's go and have a look at the ES. Right, here's the ES. First of all, I want to start with a standard MTPredictor trade setup on the ES, which was this TS4 buy setup here, because the STF was blue stroke black. Therefore, all MTPredictor traders could have taken this one. If I place the analysis on, you see the market basically went from here right up into the first target, where a lovely 4R profit was available. In fact, looking at the day, this automatic setup caught pretty much the low of the day, was signaled on the bar of the low of the day, and the profit target there pretty much caught the high of the day. So one trade from the low of the day into the high of the day for a 4R profit was a very, very good result. So that's a very nice trade there on just the standard trade setups. But I want to look at this particular high here, which also was coinciding at around 11:45. So let's see what this actually means. Just as we did on the YM earlier, let's go out to the higher time frame 15-minute chart, and just as I did before, let's place a DP on from prior swings. Here's the swing that was made just after the open, so I'll place the decision point level on there, and again please understand that these decision points are on the chart before the market even gets there. So in other words, before the market even made this new high here, this resistance area was on the chart as well. I also go back to the same prior pivot as well that I used on the YM, which was here. If I place the decision point on from there, again, this is a leading indicator on the chart in advance. I'll just drag it across. You can see this was also projecting resistance in and around that same area there. So if we now come to the 3-minute chart, can you see how on the ES, which is the boss, the more important indices, it actually got into larger degree of 15-minute resistance at this 11:45 area. As a PS, before I go back to the YM, this would have given you added confirmation if you were long this TS4 setup to then look to take profit in around this area and not trail with the STF or the ATR stop because the STF was strong. Normally what we suggest is when the market gets to its profit target, we look at the strength of the STF to gauge whether you want to try and trail the market with your ATR stop. In other words, you're anticipating that it's going to run further. In this particular example, you wouldn't, because the market hit the larger degree resistance area. In fact, there was 2 larger degree resistance areas coming in here, so that's why you'd want to come out at that target, which as we can see was a very, very good trade. Remember, this 15-minute decision point resistance area would have been on your chart before the market got there. So as the market was rallying up into there, you would have known that was a good place to then to start to bank your profit. Also, you can see that there's our red signal on our volume here. So this bar going up into this 15-minute resistance area was actually a VSA setup, and that's something that I haven't got time to talk about in today's video, but it was also another indication that the market was making a high there. But I want to come back to the YM. I want to come back to the YM knowing that at the 11:45 area here, the ES was at larger degree resistance. So as the ES was at larger degree resistance, at the 11:45 area, can you suddenly see how this TS3 sell setup, even though it's against the blue STF, would have been a good one to take? It would have been a good one to take for the more aggressive MTPredictor users or more experienced users. If I place the analysis on, you can see that this would have got you in a nice short trade, going down here to a lovely 4.9R profit at the first target there. For those of you who are more experienced, we were still in this resistance area, this 15-minute resistance area as well. But you all see how by having the ES in its resistance area, or its 15-minute resistance area at the same time, i.e. around 11:45, that made this particular sell setup probably the better one to take. So if you are slightly more conservative a trader, you would have probably waited till this sell setup and as a result had a nice 4.9R profit. But as I started the webinar off, if you'd been more aggressive, you'd have probably taken the first one. So let's see how yesterday would have unfolded if you were an experienced and more aggressive MTPredictor customer. Well, because the YM was at 15-minute resistance, you would have probably taken this first setup. You would have been short from the pivot high there into that low there for 5R profit. You'd have then come over to the ES. As we've already seen, you'd have had a lovely long trade on the ES from that low up into the DP target there for a nice 4R profit. So what's that? It was 5 plus 4. Was it 5 to start with? I'll just come back here in a second. Yes, it was 5R profit, then 4R profit on the NQ. Then you'd have also taken this TS3 sell, as we've already discussed later on, for another, can I call that 5R? 4.9R? 5R. So 5 plus 4 plus 5, 14R. So for the more experienced and more aggressive MTPredictor users, yesterday could have been a 14R day, and as such would have been a very, very, very good day. And it was all set up by knowing the larger degree support and resistance areas on your 15-minute chart. And it's all set up because those levels were on your chart in advance because they are leading indicators. So hopefully this has been a good video to show you the power of some of the tools we have in the MTPredictor software program, particularly as they can allow you to anticipate areas in advance where the market's going to make reversals. In other words, we have leading indicators in these tools as well as our automatic setups here that give you trades to look at on the time frame you're trading. So overall, a very good day for MTPredictor yesterday.